From its start in Philadelphia to its current home in Greenville, South Carolina, the USA Cycling Pro Championships have been the birth of cycling's brightest stars, like 1993 champion Lance Armstrong, three-time winner Fred Rodriguez, and 2007 champion Levi Leipheimer. In 2006, the race made its debut in Greenville. In front of an energized hometown crowd, George Hincapie won the road race championship as he pulled away from the competition down the stretch. With last year's race, fans witnessed a dramatic finish to a very memorable championship.
There's George Hincapie, the local favorite, Greenville resident. He's made his home here for years. A lot of pressure on this man's shoulders, but he's undoubtedly up to the task.
Yeah, not racing the time trial yesterday. He'll be one of the most focused men here, going for his third U.S. Pro Championship. And he certainly has a good guy running shotgun with him here, as Craig Lewis is going to be an animator here today, rolling him off the line after the call-up. It's going to be just about 120 miles until we've got this sorted out.
Nervous moments for everyone involved, isn't it, Dave? I mean, no matter how many times you do a race like this, you still have to start off strong.
Yeah, beginning of the race, a good time for old friends to catch up as well. There's Alex Candelario and Danny Pate, who rode together on Prime Alliance a few years ago. And two more friends, Floyd Landis and Dave Zabriskie here. It was a few years ago at the Vuelta that Floyd challenged Dave to attack the race in the early going. It looks like he's done it again as Zabriskie going to the whip here, as they're still on those opening circuits here in Greenville.
It's going to be a long day in the saddle. An interesting course. This is our fourth year in Greenville. They'll start with 3 small loops, but then the real meat of the day is those 4 massive loops that include Paris Mountain.
We look at Zerbel, won another very strong time trials in the course, and then, of course, this is a day for George. We'll find out. There's Mike Friedman, an American Olympian, coming back to America after a long season over in Europe, Girona. He was at Paris-Roubaix this year. He's really one of America's top hopes for a big classic win, and oh no! Friedman hitting a bump,
big
and he's
spill.
Down. Oh.
Holy mackerel, you do not see that often, a guy with that much experience, but Mike Friedman from Garmin Slipstream just looked as though Davey hit a bobble in the road. Really, no one in front of him or behind him caused that.
Here's a guy who really is about the steady state effort, tapping out the tempo at the front, Dave Zabriskie. And you can see, though, it doesn't look like he's intent on staying out there all that much longer.
Well, second time up Paris Mountain, you had mentioned it'll be the third and fourth time where they really feel it, but Zabriskie feeling it at the moment. And to go back to what you were talking about earlier with his Garmin Slipstream teammates, quite simply, if you got a man up front, then you get to sit in the back and conserve your energy. Continuing to climb up Paris Mountain, this is where we would expect most of the excitement to happen. But keep in mind, after these 4 big loops, we will have 3 smaller circuits, just like we began the race. So a lot of tactics still are going to play out in those final 12-plus miles. Big George still taking looks behind him to try to assess this field to see who was able to stay with him this third time up.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking inventory there, and he realizes that he's whittled this down quite a bit more. Yeah, you can see Hincapie is right in the middle of that group. As there he is now, moving up to the front. That's Columbia HTC rider.
That's
Hincapie.
George. Holy mackerel. Sorry, Dave, but what a move by the former champion.
Yeah, and look who's responding to it now. It is Kelly Benefit Strategies. So Neil Shirley and Andy Bajadali realizing it is on like Donkey Kong right now. This time up the climb, Hincapie is pinning it, and he has got some riders in some serious trouble behind him. Look at the carnage. George Hincapie has realized this is the most dangerous situation that he has faced here today. He's not going to get much help from the other riders up in the breakaway, as BMC has him on the ropes right now. Lauder killing it, and Hincapie couldn't wait any longer. Hincapie now drilling it.
George Hincapie, now with only 1.5 K to go, has decided this is his time. A quick look around, who's going to be able to go with him? Few in the world can match an acceleration like this.
Yeah, the Machiavellian chess match is over. It's a true strongman contest right now, and Andy Bajadali does have that wheel of Hincapie, so Hincapie will have to be aware of who's he's still got with him. It looks like they are making the catch. It was 2 seconds a moment ago. Lauder's been brought back into the fold. Bajadali started to sprint early from 300 meters out. He knew that was the only shot he had, and George covers that move for the final time. Watch him to absolutely explode here for the finale.
Talk about Hollywood endings, except this time it's going to happen in Greenville, South Carolina, perhaps George Hincapie, one of the best sprinters in the business, moves on the right. Bajadali can only hope to match him. There goes George Hincapie, the hometown favorite. You talk about these crowds. They are cheering for one man and one man only. Your winner, George Hincapie, wins his third national championship.
Oh,
Last year in 2009, I thought the race was over with about a kilometer to go. One other rider, who's my teammate now, had about 6 seconds on us. And typically with a kilometer to go, you can't really close that gap. But at that moment, I made a decision whether I was going to do all the work to chase him down, and I knew that would make my chances of winning less. But second place didn't mean anything to me, so I figured I'd put it all on the line. And fortunately, that was a good decision. I caught him with about 500 meters to go, and the guy that came with me tried to drop me at that point, but it didn't work, and I sprinted past him with about 150 meters to go, and it was a very special feeling coming across the line there on Main Street with the hands raised in the air, knowing that all my family and friends were there watching.
Every championship starts with a dream. For Hincapie, his inspiration and support have always come from his family, beginning with his father.
I started riding while I was living in Colombia as a young guy there, and I used to race there. I raced about 4 years over there, and then when I moved to New York, we started racing in Long Island and all over the East Coast. And I used to take my boys to the races, so that's how the whole thing started.
You know, George and I raced from a very young age. He started at age of 8, I started at age of 9, so it's basically all we've done for a long time. So it was fun growing up in a family like that, because it brought us together very closely. We traveled together. George and I shared a bedroom, so we've always been very close. It's been really fun and unique to see George grow in the sport worldwide and globally. I'm his biggest fan, so I watch him train and go to the races in Europe and watch that. So it's been great for me. It's been a lot of fun for my dad and for myself, because we're super passionate about the sport. It couldn't have happened unless we had supportive parents that were 100% behind what we did. And
I used to take him to this little boys race, and he won everything that he entered. So I knew, I wasn't thinking like going to Tour of France or anything like that. But in the local level, he was winning everything.
My dad, would wake us up every morning on the weekends to go out riding with him. He made it a real family sport. And my brother was a very successful cyclist young, in his early years. And my only goal was to beat him back in those days. I always wanted to impress him and kind of show him that I was strong. So he made me work a lot harder. And that role has obviously changed over the last couple of years. And he's been a very close advisor and my best friend throughout my whole career. And both my dad and my brother have played a huge role in what I've done in my career.
He always mentioned his own family, his wife and his 2 kids. That's the main thing for him. I mean, when he goes to a race and all, that's the most important thing, the family.
As a kid, I dreamed of becoming a professional cyclist. That's all I wanted in life. And here I am 17 years later. Actually, I dreamed of doing 10 years as a professional cyclist. Here I am 17 years later, and I still feel very lucky that I'm in that position. I don't take for granted the fact that I had talent growing up, and I know that talent alone doesn't get you successes. You have to work hard always, and you always have young guys coming after you and trying to beat you, and the bar is always set higher. So I just continue to work as hard as possible. It makes my family proud, and it makes me proud, and I still love the sport.
Hincapie has earned worldwide fame and success. However, winning at home has a special place for him.
Winning in 2006, the first time the national championships were here, and last year were very significant highlights in my career. There's nothing like racing at home. There's nothing like waking up in your bed and doing national championships. I've raced all over the world, and I travel a lot, and I do the biggest races in the world. But racing here in Greenville, South Carolina, where I do most of my training, and most of my family's here. All my friends are here. It's just very special to be able to do that, and to be able to actually win the races. It makes it all that much better.
George is, and it's well known that he's a hard-working guy, one of the hardest working cyclists out there. Determined, dedicated, passionate. Cycling is a unique sport in the sense that you have to train and do it on your own. You don't have team training camps. You do once or twice a year, but you train by yourself pretty much every day. So it's easy to go out and ride when it's 70 degrees and sunny, and that's what you enjoy to do. But it's not so easy when it's 30 degrees and snowing. So you really have to be self-motivated, a very self-motivated individual. He puts a lot of pressure on himself, not only for him, but he's got a whole family behind him watching him and hoping he does well. And so I think that motivates him to go out the door every day. We've seen George race in the Tour de France with a broken collarbone, or he just crashed a couple of weeks ago, and he's banged up, and he's out there training and working hard. That's the part that's hard, especially when you've been a professional cyclist for 17 years. To motivate yourself to go out every day is not easy. So I think the strong family ties is a big push for him. Now the business is a big push for him, because he does have a responsibility not only to win bike races, but to represent the brand at the highest level, because eventually it paves the way for his future as well. So it puts a lot of pressure on himself, but we do here as well to represent the brand and represent him as good as possible.
The end is in sight for sure. I'm going to race next year, and then I would love to be part of a big cycling team. I would love to have some influence and some say in the success of whether it be BMC. I hope it's BMC. I really enjoyed my time here. But obviously the biggest goal is to continue to expand the Hincapie sportswear brand and be more of a part of that. My brother runs the company solely now, and my job now is to promote the brand as much as possible. Obviously when I'm done cycling, I'd like to spend more time in the day-to-day operations of the company, and really looking forward to that as well.
Whether he's racing or promoting the sport, fans of Hincapie will have much to celebrate for years to come. Up next, the competition heats up as the top contenders race against the clock in the Time Trials Championship race.